welcome to another video lecture, and this one is going to be on the topic of crafting secure and memorable passwords. And again, this is another video in the series of crash course on cybersecurity, and in this video I'll be guiding you through the important steps of creating passwords that are both strong and easy to remember. And we're gonna delve into the art of password creation. So let's dive right in. Number one thing that I want you to remember, okay, first let's understand the importance of strong passwords, right? So your passwords are like the keys to your digital life. Just like you have a personal life, right? You have a private life. You also have a digital life. Digital life meaning your life online, right? So even if you have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, or even if you are sharing information on WhatsApp, that is creating a digital footprint. If you want to understand what digital footprint is, I created a video on this topic long back. You can check that video. I'll put the link somewhere. And so you have to understand that it is your digital life, all right? And your passwords are like the keys to your digital life. They protect your personal information and your online accounts. So they protect your personal information that you've already put online, okay? So it is very, very important to create a strong password. It is the first line of defense against unauthorized access. If you want to protect your information online, if you don't want anyone who is not authorized to look at that information, you have to have strong passwords, okay? And the key to a strong password lies in its complexity and its uniqueness. So it should be difficult for others to guess, but easy for you to remember. And here are some key tips to help you craft secure and memorable passwords. Tip number one is to understand that the length of the password matters, and longer passwords are generally more secure, okay? So whenever you are trying to create a password, aim for a minimum of 12 characters or even more, right? So that would be tip number one. Tip number two is to always use combinations. So mix it up, okay? Use a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters. Use numbers, use special characters, and always avoid using predictable patterns or sequences. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not a secure password. A, B, C, D, E, F. This is not a secure password. So avoid using predictable sequences. Okay. One example of secure password would be A, capital A, 3, lowercase c, @B, and so on. Okay. So try to use combinations. Tip number 3 is to avoid personal information. Never use easily guessable information. What is personal information? Personal information is your name, your birth date, your address, okay? And it is easily guessable, right? Because your friends know it, right? Your neighbors know it, your co-workers, your colleagues will know it, right? So avoid using personal information. Hackers can easily find this information online. They can find it from different sources. So avoid using personal information as passwords. And so this one, for example, name @ so your name @ something something, this is not a secure password. So avoid using these type of combinations where you have your personal information inside. Tip number 4 is to stay unique. What I mean by that, we all have so many accounts on Facebook, on the internet, right? There are so many accounts. You're using Twitter, you're using Instagram, Facebook, email, and then you have accounts on YouTube, Spotify, and all that, right? And you will also have passwords for each account. Each online account should have its own unique passwords. It should have its own unique password. avoid using the same password across multiple accounts. Okay, so every password should be different. If you have n accounts, there should be n passwords for every account. Not for every account. So n accounts would mean n passwords, one for each. Okay. This is one of the best ways, right, to prevent domino effect if one password is compromised, right? So suppose somebody guesses your Facebook password, they will still not know your Instagram password, right? So try to have unique passwords for all accounts. Okay, now that we've covered the basics, let's explore some techniques to make your passwords memorable without sacrificing security. So let's see what techniques are there. Technique number 1 would be to create passphrases. What I mean by that, instead of relying on a single word, consider using a memorable phrase or sentence. For example, instead of saying dog 1 2 3, you can create a phrase, my dog likes to play fetch, right? Let me show you how this password can be created. So you can write something like this. My dog likes to play @fetch. So it's a phrase, in a way it's a phrase. You are talking about your dog who likes to play fetch, but you passphrase it. Okay. And technique number 2 is to replace letters with symbols. So substitute some letters in your password with visually similar symbols or numbers. For example, in the previous example, instead of writing TO, I'm using the number 2. Okay, so you can do that. Instead of saying I love to, for example, I love to eat pizza, right? So I love to eat pizza. You can say I love to eat pizza. Instead of writing I can write 1. Okay, and again, if you have to write O instead of O, you can also write @ right? So to replace letters with symbols. Okay. Technique number 3 is to use mnemonics. So associate your password with a memorable phrase or story. For example, I love to eat pizza can be associated with your love for pizza, right? So these are all interrelated techniques, right? Just try to understand. It all depends in the context, right? So for example, if you're creating an account for Zomato or any food delivery service, you can, or app, you can use these type of mnemonics, right? So you will remember that I love to eat pizza, and you can use those type of mnemonics associated with a memorable phrase or a story, right? So these are a few techniques, and by applying these tips and techniques, you can create strong and memorable passwords that enhance your online security. Remember, strong passwords are just the beginning. It's also crucial to practice good password hygiene. What I mean by that, good password hygiene would mean changing your passwords regularly, enabling two-factor authentication whenever possible. And that concludes this video lecture on crafting secure and memorable passwords. By implementing these practices, you can significantly enhance your online security. And again, I want to put emphasis on two-factor authentication because I receive numerous requests to some students, some subscribers, they are still not getting two-factor authentication. See, it's very simple. If you create a Google account, if you create a Gmail account, they will always ask you to have two-factor authentication enabled. If you do that, they will ask you to have your phone number or an extra email filled, And every time you try to sign in to your Gmail account, you fill in the password, you fill in your username, your email address, your password, and when you click on login, they will send you a message on your mobile phone to verify that it's you who is actually trying to log in, not somebody else. Okay, so this is two-factor authentication. So they are using two factors. One is filling in the password, and the second would be sending a message on mobile to still confirm. So they will ask you to press yes or no, whether you are trying to access the account or somebody else, right? And sometimes they send you OTP also, right? So these are some of the ways using which you can, create strong passwords. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. And remember, again, a strong password is your key to digital security. So stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video lecture. Till then, take care.